Yes. There. Now you should really hear us.
Okay, now we have to redo the whole thing over again.
They like hearing it. It's fine. All right, so we should have audio now. Should be good to go.
Everything's okay. No sound.
No sound. Yes, yes. We'll give you guys a chance as a trial run. There was sound, I just wasn't talking.
Wait, you can hear now? So you can,
Yes,
yeah.
should be good. Good sound.
Good.
All right, perfect.
Restart. So,
Okay, so, don't worry about that.
Okay.
All right, so, I'm Jeremy.
I'm Macy.
This is LSH Live. We're going live through this whole quarantine deal, trying to help you guys be as good as you can coming out of this. We got some weird stuff happening on top.
I know.
Hold up. Got sound. Let me change my alert profile.
I'll open this door a little bit.
Please open the door a little bit. So we'll change this to default. We'll change to LSH Live. All right, we'll try this. Hopefully that works better. Okay, let there be light. Let there be light. Hopefully this gets a little bit cleared up. Helps the connection a little bit. We don't want to drop any frames. If you guys noticed last time we had better quality, hopefully. Better quality video, better quality stream.
Yep.
Trying to make this as good as we can for you guys. We'll see. I don't know why it keeps doing it on top, but no problem. People are probably like, I'm not sure.
Working on Facebook, not on YouTube Live.
Jasmine
Jeremy,
Jones says
you're
live on
messing it
Facebook.
up.
We're gonna keep playing with it. We're gonna keep playing with it. It's trial run, right? We've never done this before. Nobody in the horse industry's ever done this before, that's for certain.
That's true.
Right? So, the pausing right here is not, it's the rendering actually of the stuff on top. So when someone shares it on top, it's gonna pause.
I said not on YouTube.
See, it's a Shipware Fox.
Not
Not on YouTube. Well, I got 5 out of 5 connections. We're on YouTube, it says. We wait and wait. I know. We had the vet here. We were checking Marley. She's confirmed.
Yeah.
Not in full.
I swear.
Not in full. Of course, she had to be difficult, right? You guys saw her yesterday. She had to make it difficult. She's
I
not
was
gonna
like
make it easy.
trying to put myself together for this video because I've been so depressed.
Marley's never gonna make it easy. That's for sure.
So frustrating.
Yeah. So we'll keep playing with the stream. We'll keep kind of moving some stuff around. Hopefully the chat's a little bit easier to read. We got a little bit of background on there now.
Yeah. You can see a little background.
Should see all the followers down in the bottom right, new follows and stuff like that. If it's not working on YouTube, we'll work on it.
Yeah, you better fix it.
I'll get it worked out, right? I'm half horse trainer, half hardware engineer here.
Yes, you are. So should we restart from the beginning? Like
Also the IT department.
Like Jeremy, Macy, no horse.
Yeah. I'm Jeremy, this is Macy.
Macy.
We got no horse yet. We're gonna go over how to get started, right? So what I've always found is when I get new horses in training, getting started is the hardest part. So like we've helped you guys, we've done some videos now, and we've tried to figure out what we want to do as far as like, we've got you good feet, good hands, we've got some rib control, you guys have got some tools, but where do you start is always the biggest question. Where do you start with your horse? So for me, when I take a new horse, I want to start on grade 1, right? I'm going to back them all the way up to first grade and just kind of move them up. Wait, what are you doing there? What are you doing?
I'm trying to take my gloves off.
I feel like that's going to vibrate and not going to. Yeah. So it's going to start like grade 1, right? I want to start my horse off first grade, just make it real simple. We're going to gallop around. We'll kind of take you guys through the whole process, right? Through the whole little range of how that horse is going to be.
People said, sorry, Mom, I didn't get in full.
I
We're
know.
going to try one more time. So on Tuesday, the vet's going to come out and check one more time. And then that'll probably be our last try because we don't want like a super late baby.
Yeah, we
So-
can't have like a May baby. That's not going to work.
So fingers crossed that everything goes.
One more chance.
Yeah, one more chance. So.
Yes. We want to go through and
Thanks,
kind
Lisa.
of run you guys through the whole like range of how we take our horses from start to finish, right? So we're going to use Dubs, who's kind of in the middle of the training process. And I'll kind of, like, I didn't break him, I didn't start him.
Nope.
That's the 8-year-old horse I've been doing the horsemanship and stuff on. But I should be able to run you guys through, and hopefully you can pick a starting point for your horses at home.
Right.
All right? Because I don't want anybody to be lost. Like, we had a lot of questions about, like, okay, my horse says this, my horse says this, my horse says this, where do I go? Well, it's hard to know if you don't have a foundation before that.
Right.
All right, so I want to make sure that we're all kind of on the same page, and then hopefully what should be able to happen is, at least within our community, we have like a range and you could say, well, my horse is in 3rd grade, he does these things, doesn't do these things, and where do I go from here? Right? And you guys should have a very clear plan of where you're supposed to go, right? And that's the advantage that we have. Most of the time when we get horses in training, we don't get sent to us like the really broke show horses.
No, they're usually like,
yeah, usually our horses that we're getting sent to us are wild orangutans, right? And we've got to make sure that we fix them and get them fixed up and try to get to the show pen.
But we are doing something different. We're doing the, what we're talking about today, the subscribers, spotlight subscribers.
Yeah, you guys will see that. So on Instagram, every week, at least once a week, we're gonna do a subscriber spotlight. So make sure you're sending us videos of your horses at home, even if it's like a before and after video, if you guys have been following along through the program. It's been really fun to see your guys' messages and stuff about how your horses are coming along. She did.
I did.
She did.
I
That's
did.
what we were showing off in the beginning. Look at this. It's not messed up anymore,
and look at the back. Look at the back. I did such a good job. He was so afraid I was gonna give him a helmet. Look.
That's someone look like an Amish kid.
I have the whole thing on video, so I should post a video.
Yeah. So yeah. So we're gonna do a little subscriber spotlight. We'll be showing you guys how we feral. Yes.
Yeah.
We get some feral horses. That's exactly right. It's never like, oh, let's go to the horse show. We've either got young horses we're breaking out, or it's like, this one's messed up, let's fix it. Right? So, and I love it, right? I'm having a huge blast of it. But so like, for you guys, trying to figure out where do you fall in that range. Right. And for me, I always just take it way back to the beginning. Right. And if that horse figures it out, and he moves past that grade, and he's gonna graduate that grade really fast, I let him, right? But what you might find is, as you go back and try to fill in these holes in your horses, you are gonna need to take a step back sometimes, right? Like you might have to go back to 3rd grade and make sure your horse can do those maneuvers before you try doing the college stuff. Right. He might know some college level reading, but if he does math at a 3rd grade level, you gotta go back and fix that, right?
Do I make it dubs?
Yeah, go ahead.
What do you want them in?
The twist is hanging around.
Okay.
Yep. So we're gonna start with dubs today. We'll go over how I go through and like from ride 1 to start introducing my feet to start rolling back and kind of walk you through the process, and we'll figure out what your horses are good at, what they're not good at, and try to find everybody a good, like consistent baseline, right? So I'm a big believer that when you train a horse, you're not trying to take them and like, okay, I'm gonna start this horse as a Western pleasure horse, or this is a hunter saddle horse, right? It doesn't work that way for me. So what I gotta have is, I gotta have broke horse, and then we branch off, right? Like every horse should have like this baseline of broke, and then you specialize in different disciplines from there, right? But if there's a baseline that you wanna jump off of in your riding, that you gotta have that just standard level of training, right? There should be, across the board, very simply, this horse is broke to this level, and now it's time to jump off and become a trail horse, Western riding horse, Western pleasure horse, whatever it's, hunter or saddle horse, whatever it is, right? So trying to figure out, where's my horse fall in there? How do I move on to the next grade? And so you're not just like skipping stuff and taking like, okay, I'm gonna start working on my shoulders, and now I'm gonna work on my hips, and now we're gonna lope slow, right? There's a lot of steps that you can kind of just like tier your horse up rather than just jumping from one grade to the next. Because I think that jump is where we get frustrated with our horses. It's where our horses get frustrated with us. So keep that in mind with your riding. If you're out there and you're riding along, if you're riding along and your horse is getting frustrated, you're getting frustrated, you probably have skipped a grade somewhere, right? You've probably kind of moved on too fast for him. He's not ready to make that next step. And there's going to be a lot of frustration that comes from that.
I wonder why I said go live on YouTube.
Go on YouTube, look.
I did.
Go on our YouTube.
It's so weird. I wonder why.
Couldn't say.
Sad.
Sad day. Sad day for us here on Facebook land. Huh. The chat's connected to 5 different ones. We could start it over again. Kind of annoying, but.
Yeah, it's kind of annoying. You don't want to do that.
Forget. Join us on Facebook. Come see us on Facebook. So, so that's what we're going to start today. And we'll specialize as we go, but I kind of want to run you through as many grades as I can get through today, as many grades as I can show off on this wild animal. And we'll try to show you like the step-by-step plan of how we get from point A to point B. A lot of us have ridden broke horses, right? A lot of us at home, especially, you guys have aged horses, and you guys are pretty good Like, okay, I understand how one's supposed to turn, right? Maybe in your youth career, you had,
Can you see the chat now?
yeah, I see. Maybe in your youth career you had a really broke horse and it turned really good, and then you've got a younger horse throughout your career, and now that one doesn't turn, and we're just going to beat it up and rush, right? Can't do that. We want to make sure that we get a baseline of this is the steps that we've taken, so our horse is ready to move on to the next level.
You like this one?
All right.
His little, she
Yeah.
said his bridle path.
His bridle path, yeah.
Why no curb on the snaffle?
It doesn't do much for you, right? I'm not too worried about rolling this through his mouth or pulling it through one side, so I don't generally have to do that. I keep it balanced up between my hands, okay?
Yep.
So I'm not worried about like shearing that bit through his mouth,
Right.
okay? All right, so I'll get started. Macy will take the wheel. We have the chat in both places now, so she'll be able to read. I'll be able to read it off the phone if I need to, and hopefully we can go from there. Awesome.
Perfect. All right, I gotta turn this around real quick. Bert, it's cold today. We woke up and it was windy, and then it rained, and then it snowed.
It's been terrible.
It's been awful.
The state doesn't know what to do. 70 degrees yesterday, snowing, and 100-mile-an-hour winds today.
His bridle path is insane.
He's got a
It's
mohawk.
like-
That's what my hair looked like the other day.
That's why I had to cut it, and now look
Mason's
how
work or magic.
sharp it looks.
All right, so let's imagine for a second that Mr. Dubs has had 30 days of groundwork now. We're off the lunge line, and we're going to pick up from there. We'll call it kindergarten, grade 1, right? Grade 1, you've done your homework on the ground. If we need to go back and do some groundwork, probably have to be a different video, because that's a lot of stuff.
Yeah, that's a lot of stuff.
But we'll work from here. So grade 1, we'll get started. And I'll try to make it look as unbroke as possible.
Oh, good.
We'll just call it unbroke, right? Okay, so usually by the time you get on their back, for us, by the time you come off the lunge line, but
Lynn said he looks homeless.
he's a colt right now. This is first grade. He's in first grade, guys.
How many do we have in training?
We keep 8 in training, no
Yep.
more than 8. So for me, I think the most that you can ride in a day and do justice to is 8 horses. Any more than that and you're kind of rushing, I like to do all the warm up and cool down of my horses personally. I don't want to like stick them on a walker and warm them up or cool them down. I want to get to know my horses. I'm a believer of quality over quantity, right? So I've never, one time in my career, I had over 20 horses in training and I hated every second of it.
Yeah, that's
Right?
insane.
You can ride them for like 20 minutes, you gotta put them up and have someone bring you the next one. It's not fun, not fun at all. So I'm just a big believer in quality over quantity. And a lot of our horses, like we said, if you had a bunch of broke horses, it's probably fine, right? If you had a bunch of horses that, say this horse had been in my training program for 2 years, I could get him out and spin him around for 15 minutes and put him up, and it wouldn't be a big deal. But for us, I mean, we get a lot of unbroke horses or a lot of fixer horses, so we're trying to rebuild that horse, retrain that horse, and that just takes a lot of time. Okay? So, freshly off the lunge line, let's say, barely getting started. All I want to do with my horse, I'm going to ride him out here, just kind of slide my hands forward. Now, this position for a lot of people is very uncomfortable, all right? So if this was my colt, I would just be kind of waving him along with my legs, and I just have my hands out here. And all you want to do with your colt is get to where you can kind of guide him around, all right? So I'm right here, not touching my face at all, keep my hands out in front. And all I want to do to get is be able to make good circles, all right? Just be able to like close up, press across, set him down. Close up, press across, set him down. Close up, press across, set him down, right? Notice how I'm not bumping his face back, I'm not holding him back, right? This, holding your horse back or going after his chin is like 4th, 5th grade stuff, okay? At the very least, 3rd, 4th grade stuff, okay? Don't worry about touching on your horse's face for quite a while, right? We are not going to take his chin away. The problem with that is the majority of people are going to take their horse's chins away because they're using their hands to hang off, all right? So you've got to get to where you hold your hands out front and you guide your horse out here, okay? Ride your horse forward to the next stride, right? In the very beginning, you want to ride your horse forward. We have to remember these horses are lazy by nature, all right? He is not going to want to work a lot harder than he has to, especially the better bred he gets, okay? So as we're working with these horses, say we're going to take up a trot here. See how I would just close my legs and bounce my seat. And that would be true of any horse, no matter where I was in training, okay? And I'd just be trotting around out here. It would probably look like this. We call it colt riding, right? This is colt riding your horse around. We're just gonna slide our hands forward. We're trying to keep things kind of balanced between our feet. See where I'm not going across his neck or anything like that. Just kind of trotting along here, all right? I keep my legs really close to his body. So we're going to call this is still grade 1, right? Grade 1, trotting around, right here. Close my feet up, trying to get my feet close to his belly, okay? Trotting along. Notice how I'm staying on the same circle that I'm on, trying to hit the same tracks every time around. If you're going along and you can't hit the same stride, same tracks every time around, then you've got a problem with your horse guiding, right? So I'm right here, trotting around, and then I'm going to stop, okay? There's been a lot of questions about how do we stop them if we're not going to use our spurs, okay? So I think about, well, when I'm riding my colt, I'm just going to reach down, slide, and just one rein stop him like that, okay? Slide him down, trap him up, wrap your feet around, get your horses to where they can come here. This position is a lifesaver for anybody that's ever been on a horse, right? You see me get on and off horses, you always see me bend their heads to the side. Always want to make sure that I've got them right here. I want my horse to start getting flexible, first and foremost. And secondly, get used to this position because this is where I'm going to teach him to put my spurs on, right? And no matter how long it took for him to get to where he stopped moving his feet, I'm going to stay in until I can turn loose, right? And then I reward him. Very good. And then we'll move back off. All right, so I'm just going to come here. We'd move back out. And I'd come around and I'd trot again. Right? So my horses learn transitions on the lunge line. We're not trying to kick our horses ever in the entire training process to get them to do things. The less I kick this horse, the better I'm going to be in the long run. Okay? So I'll break him down to a walk again so you can kind of see that. Walk. Good. So I'm right here. I'm going to close both calves. I'm squeezing really tight with my calves right now. Okay? Squeezing really tight. This would be my colts, right? I'd be right here. Squeeze both calves. Now, right there, bounce on his back. You see when he starts trotting off? I stop clucking. I'll reward him. Good boy. Right? Good boy. I'll reward him, and I'll just stop bouncing. Okay? So I take that pressure away. He's going to learn from when the pressure releases what he's supposed to do, right? They do not learn from when we put pressure on. So when I started bouncing on his back to the time that I stopped bouncing, he's not going to learn until I quit. So if I bounce and bounce and bounce and stayed bouncing the whole time, even through his trot off, then he wouldn't learn that transition, okay? So I come back through here, I'm going to stop him again, I'm going to slide wide, I'm going to stop in the other direction. Ooh. Good. Want to make sure I can capture my horse up right here. Everything stays on until his feet stop. Get out and bend. Okay. So then, now I've got some handle on my horse. I can come around. We'll take a trot again. We're going to lope. So I'll come through here. Again, same deal. Hands out front. Close both calves. Squeeze tight. Outside leg more. Bounce my seat and lope off, right? Theoretically, you can get your horses right here before you ever touch your face, right? See this horse stand up on his shoulders, his legs are slow. This is where you want your horses to get to, right? So see, just rhythmic, carrying himself along, not touching his face. Stop. Good. Good. Right?
If you have an older horse, say 6, that was trained with a spur step and you want to get rid of that horrid thing, is this where you would take them back for that whoa?
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. So what you're going to find is, and that's, I go back to that pull stop a lot, right? That cowboy one rein stop. I'm going to use that quite a bit throughout the training process, okay? So that is very basically grade 1 right there, right? Walk, trot, lope, both directions. Get into where he takes his gears easy, right? He starts to pick up his leads. That's kind of what we're looking for, okay? So I come back across here, and that's where you can drop your feet out, right? So I can take my feet out, whoa, and start one rein stopping it, okay? Good boy, and then start loose and pedal.
I have a question for me. Can you explain to them why you bounce your seat?
Yep. So what I'm doing when I'm bouncing my seat, and we've touched base on it a lot.
But why is it so important for like younger horses?
Yep. So you do not want your feet to mean go this way, right? I never, ever, ever want my spurs to mean go that way. If I want him to go that way, I can slide my hands forward, I can sit up on him, and I can kind of chase him along and kiss or cluck, be real aggressive with my voice. But I don't want my spurs to mean go that way, because I got to retrain that, right? And a lot of you guys at home are going to have horses that go that way when you put your spurs on. We want, if you can avoid that whole process and start from day one, taking your horses and bouncing your seat like that, then you won't have to worry about kicking your horse to go forward. Changing gears is a choice, all right? I want you guys to think about that. He can hear me. He 100% hears me. If he chooses not to take a gear, he's got to make a different choice before I'm going to drop that pressure away, right? So I would encourage you guys all to get yourself a stick of gum, right? Because your mouth's going to get dry because you're going to kiss and cluck a lot, trying to get your horse to take a gear. Once he takes the gear, then you just take it away, but you cannot give up in the meantime, right? And there's been plenty of times that I've taken my horse and I've been out here just doing this until he walks off, then I quit, right? See how it works? I didn't have to cluck right there or anything. Same deal if I wanted to trot off, right? So if I said to him, my famous example, banana, right? He does not know what banana means, right? Or ba, we'll say ba, right? So if I said ba, banana, right? I want him to trot off. See how he's not trotting off, right? So I'll show you how we can train horses. So right here, I'm gonna close my calves, ba, 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 ba. Right there, good. See how I didn't have to kick? I didn't cluck, right? I just bounced on his back, so I'll break him back down. I'll do it again. I'm right here. Close my calves. See, it's uncomfortable for him, right? It's uncomfortable for him when we bounce on his back. So he's going to learn that really easy. Only took a couple times that time, right? Because watch my feet, I'm not kicking him, right? Right here. Good boy. As long as I release, right there. Now I'm starting to pick up into that trot. That's a choice that he makes.
Okay, this is kind of a long one, so you can kind of read that one and explain it.
My gelding's green broke, I lunged him for the first time, got my first time and I asked him to move forward. He started okay, all of a sudden he locked up. Yep. Move my hands forward, slacken the reins, barely move my legs like tap, try to hop in the rear. Yep. Then I got to move forward, walk a few laps, and intercession a good note. Yes. Yes, you did it. You absolutely did it right to know a good forward motion. And that's the other reason why I don't kick my babies, right? Because if you kick them, they're gonna be scared. And I've never seen a horse that was nervous in his body. If you take your legs and you pop him, they're coming this way. 100% guaranteed they're always coming this way, all right? So I wanna avoid this as much as possible on my babies, all right? So because I want, if you rode one of my babies, you can take your leg and just go like that, and he's not gonna do anything. Right? I want that baby pretty dull-sided in the beginning, all right? So I don't want him to be nervous about my feet. Now, if you were walking along and your horse just randomly hit the skids and decided like he just pumped the brakes and pulled the e-brake and locked up on you, most likely you didn't have your foundation in right? So I would say most likely he was probably nervous under saddle. There was a piece of riding that he wasn't sure about. He got kind of lost, and then you got stuck, all right? The better way to be, so I would go back to my lunge line and I would make sure that I had good transitions and my horse was very comfortable taking gears, all right? So we're gonna go over my foundational work, like my first 30 days of training on the ground, so you guys can see what that's like. But when we get on our babies, we usually don't have to do a lot of kicking to get us to change gears, okay? And that's, if you have to spend extra time on your lunge line before you get on their back, or before you're turned loose in the arena, I should say. If you have to spend extra time with somebody lunging you to get your transitions right, it is absolutely worth it in the end, okay? So the better your transitions are here, the better it'll be for you, okay? So, because you want to get to here, because my horse is not going to buck or kick on me right here if I bounce on him, all right? And that's why I like bouncing rather than kicking. Kicking with my feet is going to make them come this way, right? Whether they come out with their back end or they reach out and bite my foot, they get explosive, right? If I wasn't going to kick him, say it's a little more broke horse, like you said yours is green broke, right? What I would do instead when they lock up is I would take his head to the side and I put that spur in the middle of his body and make it move his feet. Okay? Because it's easier, once their feet are in motion, to keep them in motion. Right? What's the old law of physics? An object in motion stays in motion, right? So it's hard to get an object that's still to start moving. So I would bend his body around, I would put this foot in, I'd get his legs moving, and then I just let him walk out. Right? You see how this horse is like ready to go somewhere? Right there. So if I come across here, I would push him out, get his legs moving, and then I'd get out and let him keep moving. And see how I have kind of like some impulsion right there? Same thing for my bracy horse and my dull horse, right? Get him moving, get everything in motion, and then just keep it in motion, right? So, grade 1, right there, walk, trot, lope, both ways. You want to get to where you don't have to kick on him to do your gears, right? And I don't have to kick on him to keep it moving either. So I'm here, I'll pick up my lope, just keep my hands out in front. Good, right there, very good. I'm loping around, just keep my hands out in front. I want to get my steering so it's really light like this. I want my steering to be really light on my horse. The hardest thing here, as a rider, is don't start pulling back on their face. Don't worry about your speed. If he starts getting too fast, steer, right? Give his shoulders somewhere to go, somewhere to be, right? Because he's going to think about steering this circle more than going fast. Remember, they're lazy by nature. I want him to find his kind of cruise control pace, right? At what speed, what pace does this horse kind of just carry himself around? Okay? That's what I'm looking for. So I just want to be able to put my legs around him. This is all my lope is going to look like for at least 2-3 months. Okay? So this is grade 1. Then here, grade 2. We're going to start adding the backup. One step out. Okay? I'm going to go from my stops to teach him how to back up. So you saw I turn that head around, I added pressure on the outside, lean back a little bit, so I start adding my backup. So it starts right here, this is my stop. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Good boy. Right there. Then I go to my back. So here, now back, just like that. See that head fling coming up like that? That's what it's going to look like in the beginning. That's perfectly acceptable. All right? So once you have grade 1, that horse just kind of carries you around. Then we start going on to grade 2. It takes being a good rider because you can't hang on with your hands. You can't lean against his face for balance. And that's where most people go wrong, right there. They start leaning on the bit for balance. That horse starts leaning back on them for balance. And now you're in this constant tug of war, okay? What I'll tell you is you will have better results if you go like this and release all the time. So if I wanted to steer him and he wasn't steering, I would go steer, steer, steer. Right? The second he comes off that rein and makes a move over there, I would get out, right? And keep working on adjusting my steering like that. Because if I were just to try to lean over here and steer him, he can lean back on me, and now I'm not going the direction I want, right? I'm going that way, leaning through my bit instead of coming up over here, right? So once I've got grade 1 pretty well down, horse takes his gears, takes both directions, both leads, all 3 gears, I'll move on to grade 2. Grade 2 is going to be taking my big circle, right? And notice how my circle is in the middle of the arena. I am not going out here like this. Your horse will not get broke out here, right? If you're out here riding around by the rail, he's never going to get broke. If this is what your colt starting looks like and you're just kind of bombing around the outside of the arena, he's not learning anything right here, right? All he's learning is he's going to find places to get naughty. Because I'm just waiting on him to do something, right? So I'm going to come out in the middle of the arena. I'm going to come out here, make your circle, right? Make the circle you want him to make. So then I'll start cutting this circle in half a little bit. So I'm going to come around here, do a tighter circle, like this. Tighter circle, around, probably 2 or 3 of these in a row. If I'm directing my shoulders all the time, always giving these shoulders a direction, giving these shoulders guidance, then he's going to figure out, well, there's just nowhere to go. Okay? A lot of your speed control comes because your horse is leaning against your hands. He's going this way through your bit. So once I've done 3 of those, I go back out to my big circle, come out here, Do a couple small circles. Now my horse is falling over a little bit, right? Especially this right side, he's trying to tip over. Well, that's some grade 2 stuff right there, right? I've got this horse that's out there doing fly lead changes, and I'm coming back here to grade 2, and I'm finding a pole on my horse, right? That's the advantage of coming out here. That's the advantage of going back out, go back to basics and figure out where you're at. Because I'm feeling this horse tipping over just right here. He's trying to lean down and take these corners like this, right? Do you see the difference when I let him fall down? Look at how he's putting his feet. His legs are going to go fast. I can feel his weight transfer to the front end. I want to get him stood up. Keep him balanced. I'm pushing up on this outside front. Make him stay square all the time through these circles. It's grade 2 stuff. Okay? So then I'm going to back out to the big circle. Notice how I'm not doing this. Turn loose and just go straight. This is where you're going to get bucked off. Alright? If you turn loose halfway through that and you decide, oh, how does it look? This is where I've been hurt. Right? That's where you get bucked off. He's not ready to be turned loose yet. He needs the constant guidance. Okay, so it's going to be steer, 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 out. Steer, 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 out. Steer, 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 out. Okay? Until my horse can just kind of stay, steer, over, steer, over, steer, over, steer, straight. Okay? So I come here, stop, one rein stop, going back up. Right here, back a couple steps. Good, good. I want him to know that backing is not a big deal. Backing with your head up is not a big deal, but you have to move your feet, all right? This is the stage, grades 1 through 3, are where you're teaching him how this is going to go, right? How this training process is going to go the rest of his life. So it's going to be, we're going to take a hold of your shoulders, we're going to move you back, all right? We're going to do things, there's going to be release, there's going to be reward, we're going to work together, right? That's what I want to create, so that every time I stop on his horse, he takes a big puff, like you've seen him do, right? I don't want him to finish on edge, I don't want him to be nervous. Every time I stop, I'm waiting for him to take a puff. If he doesn't take a breath, I probably need to make my workout a little more challenging, all right? If he's not a little bit nervous about what we're doing because he's a little unsure what to do, then he's not going to take a breath when I stop, and I need to make my program just a little bit harder. Okay, go ahead.
Stephanie said, can you explain what you do to make them stand up if you feel them falling over in that circle?
Grade 3. Yep. We're getting there. All right, so what I'm going to do from there, this is still grade 2, right? I'm cutting that circle into a little bit smaller circles. Coming around. Then I load off. Woo!
Woo!
Uh-oh, he's looking like he's grade 2.
I know.
Come over here. Try to loop again. Good. He's like, I like this. This is easy. Alright, so we're looping around. Grade 2, looping around. Want to get to where I can, like, loop around here, squeeze both legs, relax. Squeeze both legs, relax. Squeeze both legs, relax. Squeeze both legs, relax. Just have nothing happen. Alright? Not looking for a ton to happen here. Just where I can ride my legs closely around him. Right? See how I'm still on the same circle looping around. Still on the same circle. I could try to maybe cut this in half. Straight. Come around. Back to my circle. Maybe cut it in half again. Straight. Come around. But see how my straight lines are only like 3-4 strides? So I might turn, straight, 1, 2, 3, turn, straight, 1, 2, 3, turn, straight, 1, 2, 3, turn, stop. Good boy, back, 1, 2, out. Looking for lick and chew, right? This horse is understanding how this deal is going to go, right? So I'm always going to consider my loping maneuvers to be at least 1 grade behind my walk and my jog. Right? If you think about your horse that way, your lope is going to be 1 grade at least behind your walk and your jog. Then you'll be doing okay when you lope. If you're trying to do the same maneuver, the same button at a lope that he's learning at a trot, you're going to set him up for failure. He's going to struggle with that. He's going to get frustrated. Right? Go ahead.
When I ask my guy to back, he's super slow and lazy about it. What can I do to get him to back quicker?
Better release, all right? Better take a hold, better release. It needs to be more black and white to it. So notice how when I back these horses up, right here, I'm not trying to make that a real quiet move, right? I'm gonna take a hold, I'm gonna lean back, I'm gonna bring him to me, all right? Take a hold, lean back, bring him to me. And I'm kind of like throwing my weight to help him back up, right? Kind of like pitch it back and then back like that. And what you'll find is I barely have to touch his face to get him to back up, right? So if I kind of like throw myself back, let him come to me, let him kind of scoot me back up to straight, right? If I'm right here and he moves back, it kind of straightens me out. Do you see that? So kind of like using my body to help this horse pick me up. Most of the time, if your horse is sluggish and slow, what we've done to our horse is we've made him, like we've backed, and maybe he started light, and we stayed in, but we were kind of like in this gray area where he's not really sure if he should be backing or not, right? Like we're kind of like right here. He's like, well, I'm backing, and then we get bored of backing, so we're like, oh, that was good, right? Hopefully you guys can see the difference in the backup right there versus if I take a hold of him and I say, okay, we're going to back up now, right? Do you see how that backup, those steps right there versus the other ones, this is moving backwards, right? It's not enough just to move backwards. I want him to shift his weight. So it's going to have to be like when I take a hold, notice how everything I do with my hands, I do slowly, right? When I take a hold of him, I'm going to slide down my reins like we learned how to do. Take a hold, but I'm pretty tight rein right there, right? I want it to be, hey, we're definitely backing up, and we are definitely not backing up, right? Be in reverse, or neutral, or drive. Don't be somewhere in the middle. And I think in the middle is where most people get stuck. Most people get in trouble with their horses. They end up being somewhere in the middle, and it's not good for anybody, okay? So we're riding along here. We're going to move on to grade 3. Grade 3 is where I start taking a hold of my parts and pieces. And it's going to be, like if we're thinking each one of these grades takes about 30 days, right? Grade 3 is where I start taking a hold of it. And I'm going to start making this body do things, start piecing him apart. All I've done for the first 2 grades, the first 60 days, is made mental notes of what this horse is good at and what he's not good at.
Someone said the volume is way down. I can't hear anymore.
It's not on our end.
Can you guys hear okay?
If you could turn the mic towards me.
Okay.
But yeah, it shouldn't be on our end. Alright, that should help just a little bit. Alright, so all I've done for the first 30, 60 days is kind of said, okay, let's get figured out what's this horse going to be good at, what is he not good at, what are his tendencies, right? Get to know your horse a little bit. Does he lean in one direction? Does he lean out the other way? Does he try to spin his hip? What happens with him on a regular basis, right? Is he trying to get away from me in some way? So if I'm riding this horse, I've made a note, a list of things that this horse does. So I'm going to decide, okay, now this is what I'm going to work on, right? Now this is what I'm going to start with. So say this horse always kind of fell over to the left. I'm going to make it about opposites, right? If he wants to go this way, I'm going to go this way. So if my horse is falling down to the left, I'm going to come here, I'm going to stop, I'm going to back up, I'm going to turn to the right, I'm going to walk out, all right? I'm going to walk out, maybe tip back over to the left again, I'm going to stop, back up, turn to the right, walk back out. I want him to stay straight between my reins. You'll always find he's going to lean one way or the other. So if I'm riding along, I'll ride to you guys. Say I'm on my circle, right? And because I have a plan in mind, I know where my next stride's going to be, right? I'm trying to ride up there. So if I'm riding along, and I've got this rein on, and my horse is still drifting this way, right? Then I have a problem on this rein. So I would stop, back up, and I would get him lighter off this side. I would say, you gotta respect this rein more. And I'd walk back out, and I'd see if he stayed there. If he didn't, I would stop, I'd back up, I'd turn, and I'd try to get him off that side until I could ride, and my horse stayed between the lanes, right here. Okay? Notice how I'm not babysitting him to stay straight between the lanes. If you're on this, and your horse is doing this, and you're kind of constantly catching him back and forth like this, he's going to get frustrated and mad that you're overhandling him, right? I want him to stay straight because we are a neutral input, right? Staying straight should not be any input from you. Staying straight is simply don't go this way or this way, all right? So we're starting to think of our horse in terms of balance. We want balance this way, this way, this way, this way, and this way or this way, all right? So 6 different directions of balance. All I want in the beginning is balance this way. All right? We're going to add in balance this way when we can start doing more back. Okay? So I'm going to fix my balance this way first. If I'm riding my horse along, say I take up my trot. Remember, this is grades 2 and 3, right? If I'm trotting along and I'm like this and the horse is spinning out like this, I've got this rein on, he's still spinning out towards me and I'm pulling across here and he's not respecting that side. We've all been here before, right? Where a horse is dragging us to the walls, what you have is not enough respect on your outside aid. So what I would do right there, if you're dragging and arm wrestling him across here and you're riding like this, but you're still going this way, I've seen a lot of people doing this, right? A lot of people not going where they're looking, okay? Horse is leaking out, making a huge circle. You've got to stop, back up, get him off that rein right here, and then go off. So that this rein is a wall for him. I need that rein to be a wall, okay? So if you've ever got on a horse, you turn their head this way, and they've just escaped out to the outside, that's a scary place to be, right? So you need to make sure first, can my outside aids hold him on my circle? All right, can they hold him in the direction I want to go? So I'm here like this, outside aid, good. Here like this, outside aid, good. Here like this, outside aid, good. All right, remember this is grades 2 and 3. So now, we've got to stop, we've got to back up, we've got to turn around. We'll start using that to make a rollback. Okay? So the very first thing I'm going to put on, the very first maneuver I'm going to teach my horse to do after backing is start rolling back. So right here, right there, got out. This is where I can start working on my horse's balance left to right, or front to back, sorry. So front to back balance is coming from the ability to stop, back up, turn around, got out. Right there. If I have a horse that's really sticky and really dull, I'm going to work on that turnaround. Okay? What I want people to understand is the vast majority of your horses that you consider to be dull or lazy are just down. They're just flat. So I've never seen a horse that could turn around that was really flat, right? If he's got a good turnaround, he's most likely not flat. So work on that turnaround. Create a rollback in your horse, so that when you come out of that rollback, you can squeeze both feet and the horse comes way up to you. All right? So that's where we're going to go next with him. So this is going to be grades 3 and 4. Right here, coming around, we're going to stop, we're going to back up, turn around, trot out. And see how I had some momentum right there? I had some energy. All right? When I went to my trot off, I had a lot of energy. Notice how grades 3 and 4, I'm still not touching on his face when I'm going around. Okay? We're talking 3-4 months of the trainers for your 2-year-olds, your young horses, that we are still not touching their face. We are not hanging off their mouth. But what we're getting is we're getting a lot of handle in our shoulders, right? We're getting a lot of lightness, a lot of softness in our shoulders. I don't need his chin for his shoulders to stand up. And in fact, they're easier to get if I don't have his chin. So stop, back up, turn, then we start loping out. Good, so shoulders stand up, real nice. You're gonna see this horse slow down a lot through this stage. This is where speed control starts coming in. So I'm riding along, stop, back, roll back, come up to me. So I wanna make this horse lope up into the air, right? Make him start loping up into the air. Stop, back, roll back. Good. I want that transition. See how this horse is able to go right from the turn to the lope? Right? That's a choice. If he picked his body up, and he got really up in his shoulders and his body, he'd be able to lope right out. Good. He got a little tripped up. We'll do it again. So there it is, grade 3, 4 with this horse, and he's making mistakes. These are beginner mistakes, right? There, much better lope off. Come around. Very good. We see this horse start to roll up to us. starts to get kind of soft everywhere. Right in there. Good. So if your horse doesn't have a good turnaround, go back. There, lots of power through that lope off, right? Really like that horse got up underneath of me, did something. That's what I want to see. Gotta have some lift, gotta have some drive in our horse. Good, back, turn. Because I really want to see him break in half through the lope off. That's gonna start dropping his neck. Look how his chin starts to come into me, right? Because if he's up in his shoulders, his head and neck's gonna be very easy to get. Right? See how this horse stays up in his shoulders? You can shuffle their head down like that, and they're really light. Like I can do this open-handed because his shoulders aren't leaning into me. Right? And then everything you do with his head and neck is gonna stick around because he's not leaning on your hands in order to go slow. So here, good, back, reach down, pet it. Right? So grades 3 and 4, right? Getting that roll back in there. Start putting that roll back on. You could be, like, if you were 3 months in and you had a decent roll back, you're in great shape. Right? You're doing really well.
Diana said that the video keeps getting jerky and locks up. We tried something new today, and I can see that it keeps getting locked up. I think if people share it or like it,
yeah, I think so.
It gets locked up. So we'll fix that. I know it's not very good. It keeps like,
we'll
you look
here,
by.
let me see.
Okay. I just feel bad.
Yeah. We can actually turn it off. All right. You guys can see what I see.
No.
We can go here. We can take the alert box off. Perfect. All right.
Good.
Yep.
Okay.
Should be better.
So it shouldn't lock up anymore.
Yep. All right.
You go.
So, now, we've got our horse. We are 30, 60, 90 days in now, right? We've got a good turnaround. We're gonna start working on the other pieces of his body. So that would start being my 2-track would start coming into play right here. I'd start getting control of his ribs like this, right? We've done a couple videos on this rib control now. I'd start putting that in there. And the way I'm gonna do that is right there. Every transition now is gonna come from a maneuver, right? So I might come over here, side pass over, and then trot up. Good, good, and get out.
We have a question.
Yep.
What if you got one that doesn't like to lope off right away? Do you get them to lope off and go around and roll back and go the other way, or stop, roll back, and go the other way, even though they didn't lope off?
Yeah, so if he didn't lope off, right, you've got to stay committed on the lead. So I made a mistake right there in showing you guys because I want to show you everything. If I'm working on my right lead, I'm going to stop, turn right, right lead, stop, turn right, right lead, stop, turn right, right lead for 15 minutes or 10 minutes at a time. Only work one side, then give him a mental break, whether it's just walk around for a second before you change directions, okay? So if I had my horse and he didn't lope off very good, say this is my right lead, I'm right here loping, right? And he doesn't lope off right away, I might shut him down like this, push him around, turn him around something, and then try that right lead again. Right? And just kind of try to keep shifting his weight around until he picks up that lead. Okay? So until he picks up that lead consistently every time. And I'm going to work my right lead for a while, and I'm going to work my left lead for a while. Not very often when I'm training am I going to mix my horse up by going this way and then being like, no, go this way. Right? See how scared he gets? He gets nervous about that. Right? They don't really understand, like, go this way, no, go this way. Right? He can't think that fast. So stay committed to one direction. If I'm gonna work this way, I'm gonna keep working this way for a while. That's a good question.
Yep.
Very good.
You're welcome. I know his bridle path's bad. We need to do
it.
He is under quarantine.
See everybody's hair right now? Everybody's hair is a mess. Barbershop's closed, guys. All right, so we're gonna start getting control of his ribs right here.
You're welcome, Jessica.
Start getting control of these ribs, start moving things around. I'm going to go on my circle. And I want to think about this more in terms of my legs now are going to get him to switch lanes. Okay, so if you imagine my circle is a 2-lane highway, right? I want to be able to go from the inside lane to the outside, right? I'd love to be able to go from the outside to the inside, but that's a little more advanced maneuver. But what I can do in the beginning, if this is my circle and I'm on the inside lane, I'm gonna start putting some flexibility in right here by sliding wide, move the lane over, and then come back in, okay? Because I've worked on my turns and my rollback, I should have pretty good control off the outside rein. Now I'm gonna start putting some good control off my inside leg, right? Switch lanes to the outside, come around, okay?
Bonnie said, Sophie question. Going to the left, I can feel her barrel rolling in and downward. Even when she's side passing out, it still feels like it's down. What am I missing?
Close your outside leg, right? This one does the same thing, right? He's doing this. He's rolling in and down on the inside. And I think that's exactly what Sophie's doing, right? Capture things up over here. Keep this leg closer. Because, and you're gonna have to squeeze this leg a little bit, push her to that foot. And what you're feeling for is when that barrel straightens back out, get out and reward. She might freak out, right? She might get a little nervous, but it's a new maneuver and she's used to rolling like this. Keep this leg close so she can't throw her ribs under and out over there. Good.
Exercise to loosen up tight shoulders, Tracy asked.
Yeah, so same thing, right? All this stuff now, we've got a good turnaround on our horse. That turnaround is gonna help loosen his shoulders up, right? If he's stuck right here, he's jumping over this, it's because his weight's not in the right place, right? You saw this horse a couple days ago, right? He would get his weight in the wrong spot, especially turning to the right. And now we have this horse a little bit softer, a little bit more fluid across there. Remember the other day he didn't turn at all, right? So that was literally just 3 days ago. He didn't have a turnaround, right? We were laughing about it. So see where we've come, just going back to our basics and addressing that, right? So once I have my shoulders, then I can start two-tracking my horse like this. I'm gonna push him out, switch lanes, come back in, draw around. So I'm coming around, I'm gonna push him out, off my inside foot, switch lanes, come back around. 2-lane circular highway, okay? I want my horse to ride on the inside, be able to merge lanes to the outside, just like that, right? I'll come around so you guys can see again. I'm gonna start that on my circle, right? So right here, on my lane, push my leg, switch lanes, back to the circle. So by just releasing that leg, he should go back to the circle, right? So right here, push over, switch lanes, release that leg. Push over, switch lanes, release the leg. Okay? Push over, switch lanes, release the leg. Okay? So right there, we start getting some rib control. Then I'm gonna work further back to my hips, right? What you do not wanna have in the beginning is you do not wanna start taking your face away if you can't put your feet on and you can't control your back end. So when I start pushing this horse's hips around, I'm gonna bend his head to the outside, push his hip around. He's not giving it to me. He's trying to rush. This is what your horses will look like. I'm gonna run out of room. Good. Hip comes around, I'm gonna catch. Keep your foot on. See how he's turning back into that side? Wrong, right? If you look at what he's doing, he's backing this leg away. Your horses are gonna do that because until he learns to bring this hop into his face and step towards his jaw, he's gonna be spinning around all over the place. So what you wanna try to do is get some flexibility in your horse's body so that he can push his hip around off my left foot, right here. Take me out the door, push his hips around, and then bring his head and neck on the same side as his hip. Now see him back away, I'm gonna push the hip around again. If he backs away from his face, I'm gonna push his hip around again. So right here, push, catch. Keep your hip there, hip and face on the same side. Very good.
That little cat is just watching you. If you guys can see, there's like a little black cat right there. It's just been laying there watching us.
Right. So I'll push his hip around again. Give yourself room out in the middle of the arena. Don't let him pin you against a wall or take you out the door. But this is good. This is exactly what it looks like for you guys. So hip around, catch, just like that, right? Then I'll just kind of shuffle my head and neck right here, and then I'll walk out, okay? Keep your leg on, keep your hip over. You're trying to get to where you can push your leg and everything kind of steps over and keeps going, right? So I'll push my hip around again. Notice how I'm not kicking, just hold that foot on. Your horse can try to, like he's trying to twist his head away from me, all that stuff. Push his hip around, make his neck to the side, catch, right here. Don't let things go back over to the right. Don't let things go this way. See how you're stepping that way? I'm going to push the hip around again. Push his hip around. Catch. Nope, he backed away. Push his hip around. Backing away is simply saying I'm not going to get round. I'm not going to bring my hocks and my face close together. Right there, nope, he backed away. Push it around. Catch. Nope, he backed away. Push it around. Catch. There. Okay? So we want to get to where we can step this hind towards this face. So you can see where to the right, especially this horse, he's back at grade 4 or grade 5, right? When I bring his head over and I make everything kind of come together, that he backs away and tries to get flat, right? So I'm pressing this foot, looking for this leg to step towards his face, and he's going, no, I'm going to back up. I'm going to back that leg away, right? So what you want to get to is where you can bring your hip in line with the rest of his body. I'll push this around. I'll come towards you guys so you can see, catch, and walk everything up. See how it's going sideways? He's got to step that up into the line, right? So right up in here, no, wrong. I'm going to push right again. And see, like my horse is nervous here, right? He's trying to rush this, he's trying to run this. We got to step back. We got to go back here. This horse doesn't understand what he's supposed to do. So I'm holding this leg on. I'm not moving yet, but I'm holding that leg on, right? I'm getting that horse on my shank. We talked about that the other day, how this horse got to sit on our shank. Now I'll take my hands, riding straight ahead, walk this horse up. See, he's not sure where to go, right? That head and neck coming up, right? That head and neck coming up means we don't know where our hip is, right? We're too far over, we're not getting around. There, better. But he's super light off my left leg, there. So now he walks smoothly up into this, much better position, then I get out. See me release, reach out and pedal. Okay? But you see this horse get nervous when I start pushing his hips around. It's a good example of when you take it away from them, they get scared, right? His hips are not just worked with and just said, you know what, we're going to get comfortable doing this maneuver. See how much calmer that is right there? Now I'm not getting the overreaction. I'm not getting the super far over with my hip. Not getting all that stuff. Now we're much calmer. See, and I let him walk out of that real slow, right? I had to buck a little bit right there to get him moving forward. But this is what I want. Now my left shank is up in this horse, and he's not over canted. Okay? He's not overdone. That's what I'm looking for. He's not nervous now. That's what I want. Okay? So getting this horse where he'll accept your feet. Between those three things, between a rollback, a rib move, and a hip move, that'll be plenty to keep you occupied all the way from grade 3-4 through grades 5-6. All right? 6-7. This will be the next like 3-4 months of training on your horse, is getting him to where he lets you push his body around, even just at a walk and a trot, okay? From there, I'm gonna start bending this horse around, because if I have him where he's flexible in his ribs, then I should have his neck right here broke pretty loose, right? Remember we said most of what you see and feel up here is a product of what you don't have through here. Then I start winding this horse around. So I'm going to bring him around. You saw us do this on Peanut, right? Time to start doing this little rib move. I bring him into the inside, right here, out to the outside. Into the inside, out to the outside. And I start trading my horse between my feet. So once I have a pretty good little lateral move across there, then I start trading him back and forth between my feet. Okay? What that's going to do for me, remember, we used this maneuver originally to make balance this way, left to right. Remember, we used the balloon example where his belly is a balloon. If I can push the balloon this way, and I can push the balloon this way, when I push the balloon across and I make a wall, things should come up underneath of me. So for Bonnie, you have this shoved over, which means you need to start closing this side, and you can close it pretty tight, and she's got to learn to come up. All right, she's got to learn to break in half in the middle. That's going to take you a little while, all right, to make some lift underneath of you. It's going to take you a little while. When you feel the horse come up and things come square, then you get out, right? Until you can go to both spurs and that horse can come up square underneath of you, right? All the while, what you'll find is this horse will be better at everything you're asking him to do, okay? Remember, just because you're in grade 6 or 7 doesn't mean you don't do your rollbacks, right? Doesn't mean you're not going to push your hips around, push your shoulders around, revisit. A lot of the times, your maneuvers are going to work against each other. If you work on your front end, you're going to put weight on your back end, so your back end's going to get sticky. If you work on your back end, you're going to shift your weight to your front end, so your front end's going to get sticky, right? If I work on my head and neck, I'm going to lose my top line, or my legs, right? If I work on driving my legs out, I'm going to sacrifice some top line, okay? So all of those things are kind of working back and forth. You're going to be taking your horse too heavy on the front end, too heavy on the back end, too leaning to the left, too leaning to the right? Your mission is to try to identify, oh shoot, I've gone too far, and try to bring things back over to keep it as straight and narrow as possible, all right? Remember, we start these horses off, he's going to be very stiff, very straight in his body. We're going to get him loose and pliable and flexible everywhere, so he learns to be soft. Cover him. So he learns to be soft and flexible, and then we get him back solid. Getting him back solid is going to be like months 8, 9, 7, 8, 9 when you can get outside, right? At least for us here in Michigan, where we're trapped inside, right? Go ahead.
Bonnie said support with the right spur and press and lift with the left.
So if I was going to the right, I'm going to press across with this one, and I might tap with this one or roll with this one. I'm going to be holding with this one, right? Holding with the outside. I want to push her onto my outside foot.
So hold the left and tap the right?
Hold the outside, use the inside.
Yeah.
Yep.
If you're going to the right, it would be holding.
It's always hold the outside,
yep.
Use the inside. Yep, roll the inside. Okay, so if I'm going to the right, using the inside, holding the outside. All right? Now, we say that, but Bonnie, you're aggressive with your feet. So keep in mind, our using and holding, like I'm going to hold, but my hard hold might be your normal hold, right? Because you ride heavy footed, right? And so it'd be sensitive. So even for her, a normal hold would be a lot, right? So not looking to scare her off your feet, but she's got to get on it, right? And learning to accept that pressure is going to be tough, right? Learning to accept that pressure will be hard for her. Right, so it's going to be a little bit of game for you trying to figure out how much pressure is enough so that she's not running for my foot, she's not jumping out of her skin, right? But learning to sit on that foot. So I might be like my using might be like gradually pressing this side, but holding this side pretty tight. So that she's going to want to go this way, and you're going to be working her off the inside.
She said guilty.
Yeah. So I want to be holding kind of tight enough on this side that using this side is enough to make him like kind of not sure where to go, right? Because you're gonna have to ride through some of the flat. So that horse is used to, you go to your feet, she kind of hollows out. To teach her to do this a little bit harder, okay? So you're gonna have to ride through the I'm doing the right thing in her mind type of thing, right? So taking your horse kind of through the steps, through the stages of very basically being broke, right? I want every horse to give up their shoulders, give up their ribs, give up their hips, and make these maneuvers, right? Now there's other maneuvers that go into it, like we're going to introduce counter-cantering along the way, probably around the same time I start getting hip control. I'm going to introduce a counter-canter. I'm guilty of it too. I don't do nearly enough counter-cantering. Counter-cantering is very good for opening up your back end, opening up your shoulders, making them stand on this side and swing this side around, right? So what that maneuver would look like I said, about the time you start going to your hips, so grade 3, 4 probably, you would go through, you take up your lead. So I'd have a circle going right here. Loop up. Good. Set up on my circle. A couple circles down here. Loop it along. And then I would go straight on a diagonal. And I'm going to connect through this leg, my right leg, to push his hip around. And this horse could use a lot of counter carrying. He's not very comfortable. And I'll come around, and I'll just lope through the middle. So right there, just lope around, and then I come back around. And I'll counter cane around. Now, the secret to counter cantering, and we're going to do a couple in-depth videos about this, but staying balanced in the saddle is really important. I love counter cantering for my amateurs because it forces you to get connected and smooth and consistent with your drive leg, right? I'm on my left lead, my right leg is my lift leg, so it's going to force you to get really consistent on that lift leg. Notice how I stay on the left side of my horse, left side of my saddle, and I'm going to use this maneuver to start getting some hip control while I lope around, right? So that way I can be loping here. And Macy, if you want to get behind me on the next pass.
Yep.
I want to get to where I can be loping a line, go to my outside foot, and push my hip over. And hold my hip over. Right? That's what I'm going to use the counter canter for. You want to get to where you don't have to hold your front end back when you go to your foot. Right? So I'll show you, he'll probably run away to the right. I'll show you that real quick before you go.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
What if you got one that stalls up when you counter canter?
So if you have one that stalls up when you counter canter, one of two things, right? So your kiss doesn't mean go, right? Most likely. Two, I'm blinded.
I know, yeah.
All right. So if your kiss doesn't mean get up, right? Then you're gonna have a hard time. If he soles up, you have to identify, is he soling up because he's not steering? Or is he soling up because your foot's digging on him? Right? If you get too aggressive with your feet on some of these horses, they're gonna not go forward. They're actually gonna suck back, right? So remember, give yourself lots of room. So when I'm doing this, like this is an 80 wide arena, I'm using all of it, right? If he's soling up on my feet, you have to make sure that you're not part of the problem. So don't be hanging off his face. Don't be hanging off the outside, or I guess it'd be the inside, right? If I'm loping left lead, don't be hanging over here and trying to make your horse counter canter over there. You can't do that, right? You got to be sitting right here so he can bring this back in underneath of you, right? So I'll show you what that looks like. I'll take him to the right. I'll counter canter around because he's going to struggle this way. Alright, so take my lead. Whoa.
Whoa.
Alright. Too soft. So I'm coming around, but take up my counter canter on this end. I gotta stay sitting on the right side of my horse like this. You gotta ride your horse around the circle. Ride him over here. This is where he's gotta end up with his back end. Right? A lot of people go to the counter canter and they're hanging over here. Right? Look how it's messing this horse up. Like we're about to fall over right here. Right? This is a dangerous spot for all of us because I'm hanging off the outside, right? And what he's doing is rolling everything out this way, right? He's tucking this under, rolling this out. We're doing that corner like this, right? I want him to stand up on this leg and swing this one around. So you got to make sure when you're counter cantering, you're staying on the lead. So even though I'm counter cantering, I'm on my right lead, I got to stay in my right stirrup, okay? Most of the time when I see horses or feel horses get sullied, it's because I'm too aggressive with my outside foot, I'm not riding him for the next stride, or I'm hanging off making his job hard. Because if he actually went around and moved his hip, I would be in the dirt, right? So remember, my horse is constantly kind of saving me over there if I'm falling off the outside when I'm counter cantering. Okay, go ahead.
Marley would get really sully when we counter cantered her. So we really had to teach her that our kiss, like when we kissed it, meant a lot, and you had to like get up. So that helped a lot. And it helped a lot too when I didn't ride her so much off my feet.
Yeah.
Because I like to use my feet a lot, so.
And that's a certain type of horse, right?
Yep.
So without knowing your horse's bloodlines, without knowing your horse, right? There are some horses you go to your feet and they suck back. Marley was one of those types of horses. So one of those types of horses, you're gonna have your work cut out for you teaching that horse to go this way off your feet, right? A horse like this is not gonna naturally suck back off my feet, so he's gonna ride up there. I gotta teach this horse how to sit on my foot, right? I gotta teach this horse to do what your horse is doing, and you gotta teach your horse to do what this horse is doing, right? So if your horse wants to naturally suck back whenever you go to your spurs, and there are absolutely horses like that, you're gonna have to work to send that horse out, right? And most of the time that's gonna be, for me, get their legs moving, right? Get them to move their feet, and then add a voice cue, right? If you have your legs in motion first, you'll be much better off, right? So along the way, you can start taking a hold of your horse, right? So when we're going along here, what you'll find is the harder your horse rolls up, the more he holds his shoulders back, the more you can take a hold of his face. Right? The more round you can ask for. So when you're doing this, you'll kind of just gradually feel that horse start to shape up into your hands and start getting round and doing things off your hands. Right? So that's when I would start kind of shuffling my hands wide, because I've got grip control, I got body control, and it's very easy to take their head away and do things with them from there. Right? So if you have their body up, if you can go to their feet, your spurs, and they don't hollow out on your hands, right? Then their head and necks are very easy. Okay? So I really like how this horse feels right here. But see how he just dropped into my hands? Now he just kind of sits down there, and he's really close to showable because I've got him up on my spurs. Right in there. Up on my spurs, right there. Right? And it's all from getting round, right? All this stuff. So now I got to let him out of this, turn around, I'm going to keep my hands wide, shuffle him into it. You kind of lift it up. Teach this horse to get around. Teach him to be right here. Question?
Yeah, what's our end goal with this horse?
With this horse?
Yep.
I want him to be just a good, solid broke horse, right? Every horse that I ride, I want to be a good, solid broke horse, okay? I'm gonna let him tell me what classes he enjoys, right? And that's what we have to understand with every horse we ride. He's gotta tell me what class he likes. So I'm gonna let him decide if we do hunter, if we specialize in equitation, if we do pleasure, if we do horsemanship, if we do western riding or trail, right? He kind of gets to tell me that. What I need him to do as a trainer, so when you're training your horse, you might have like, oh, I bought this horse to be a pleasure horse. But what you've got to have, and you've got to understand is, your job when you're training him is only to teach him how to hold himself in an athletic and ready position. That's it. Right? That's all you're going to do. Teach him how to hold himself and be ready to do something. I want him to be ready. If I was going to back up, roll back, turn left, back up, roll back, turn right, I want him to be ready to do that. I wish everybody would get their horses to where they're there, right? That's just baseline, very basic broke to me. That's what your 2 and 3 and 4-year-old years should be, right? If you're not going to make an early maturity horse, take your time to get them broke, all right? And even the horses that make early maturity horses, at some point are going to have to go on and learn this stuff, all right? But what you'll find is, the higher the level of program that your horse comes from, the better his foundation is most likely to be, all right? Because I know I've been at the Congress and I've seen Gil and Rusty and Aaron on their 2 and 3-year-olds and then go out there and change leads on them. That's just a higher level of understanding of these horses, that they've just got to be broke and soft and supple and ready to do something. From there, we let them tell us what they're good at, all right? So it's only after this grade 7, grade 8, do we go specialize, right? And think about how you were in school. You might have been really good at math, but you still had to learn English and science and social studies to be a well-rounded individual, right? So that you weren't just really good at numbers, but you couldn't write a story to save your life, right? Or you couldn't relate to people when you were talking to them. You still had gym to go to learn how to be athletic and do things. You couldn't just be one-sided. I don't want my horses to be one-sided, okay? So every horse that comes through my program, the people that take them home should find that they can go on to do any event because they're just ready and athletic. So for this horse, I look at the way he's made, I look at the way he likes to move, and I'm gonna say he's really good at the hunter or saddle. He's going to be really good at equitation. He's going to do really well in the horsemanship and the showmanship because he's very responsive. He's maybe not going to be the world's greatest pleasure horse, but he'll hold his own. And what I mean by that is he'll probably get beat by something that's specialized, right? So if he ran into a peanut that's going to be a good pleasure horse, he'll probably lose to it. But if he can go out and be 4th or 5th in the pleasure, I'm happy, right? And if you get a judge that says, you know what, that horse looked like he'd be fun to ride, then you're going to place a little higher, right? If you go out there and you say, you know what, this horse is a good time, he rolls up really hard, he's really pretty, he's big, he's going to be faster than the other horses in the class, right? Just because he covers more ground, but he's pretty and I'm confident, you might sneak in there, right? But yeah, so for him, I see him being, honestly, a world-class equitation horse. Probably his best event will be the Eq. And then from there, hunter, horsemanship, pleasure, in that order, probably. Right?
Oh, Western riding?
And he doesn't change leads well yet, like we saw, right?
Yep.
But I think when he's solid in the Western riding, but he's probably 3-4 months of solid Western riding training away from being able to change leads and not get nervous, right? So by the time he's seasoned in the Western riding, if we can get him over the hump of being nervous to change leads, he'll probably be a really talented Western rider.
Yeah, probably be his best class.
Yep, because he's so pretty when he's pushed up. The hardest thing that I think we're going to run into with this horse is him getting nervous through the class, right? I don't want him to get worked up. So that's why I say it would take a little bit longer to teach him Western riding, because like the actual active changing leads, he's going to be good at. He's going to pick up really fast because he's very responsive out of my feet. But just like Bonnie's mare, if you're very responsive but you get hyped up, right, you're going to have a harder time getting solid in that class, even though it might be your best class in the end. Yep. Good question. Good question. But just remember, it's baseline broke and then specialize. Don't go like, okay, we're going to skip the baseline. We're not going to push our hips around. We're not going to push our shoulders around. We're not going to push our ribs. And we're just going to try to go all the way around that and be a pleasure horse. It doesn't work that way. All right? If you want to look good at the beach, right, it's not just lifting weights. It's not just eating right. It's a combination of everything. Okay? So you've got to get to where you have a well-rounded individual here who's flexible and strong and balanced. Okay? And if you have that, then you can get a lot closer to the show pen. Okay. Good, that's a good question. Anybody else? Any other questions I can help you guys out with?
If you guys have any questions, you can type them up and I'll read them and then he'll answer.
Yeah. But hopefully that takes you guys through like basic starting first ride, the tools you should have all the way through the end grades, right? To move into high school and move into the show pen, right? But I want to have all those buttons and all those tools before I go into show pen, right? I do not want to get there on show day and find that I don't have a piece that he's taking advantage of, all right?
Right.
So that's how you're going to get your horse to be supple and willing and soft and just not going to come out here and fight with you every day, right? Because now I have enough tools to keep his mind engaged, enough tools to make it exciting and new for him. Okay, so that's really important to me, is I want to have enough out here to be able to keep his mind engaged and keep him learning something. Okay? Because then he'll be happy. He's learning something, he'll be way happy. He's not learning anything, he's going to be getting frustrated and cranky.
Right.
Yep. Very good. So we did the poll on showmanship versus riding. It was very close on Facebook.
It was really close, yeah.
On Facebook, it was like 2 votes different for riding. Instagram, you guys want to see the riding stuff, but so for the next video, we'll probably touch on some showmanship, and then we're going to go into a little deeper dive on each one of these grades, each one of these maneuvers, and figure out what it is that we're trying to get and look for, some common pitfalls that you guys run into, and we'll go a little bit more in depth. Go ahead.
Jasmine said, can you guys just take my mare into your program?
Well, hopefully you guys are taking your horses into your own programs, right? That's why we did these videos, that's why we started the Patreon page. So we can be there for everybody, because it's not hard. It's really not hard. Right? It's not, how should I word this?
I'll say, it is pretty hard.
But getting it's simple, it's not easy. How's that?
Yeah, that's better.
Fair?
That's better,
Right?
that's fair.
It's simple, but it's not easy. Okay, so we want to make it as simple as possible for you guys to understand, because if you guys are getting it at home, then he's going to get it, because he's not as smart as we are, right? So I've got to keep this pretty simple and pretty fun for him to understand, like, oh, well, that's what I'm going to do, right? That's how I'm going to get there in the end. But I need to get to where I can come out here and just ride him around, right? And getting that part is very simple if you'll take your time and just be as black and white as possible.
Yeah, and just as like consistent as possible too.
Yep. Just make sure you ask the same way every time. Okay? The more you ask the same way every time, the faster he's going to learn. Go ahead.
Lisa said, easier said than done, LOL.
Yeah, it can be.
Bonnie disagrees.
But we made it hard, right? And honestly, like you guys are having a hard time with your horses because that horse is not riding black and white. If you get your horse thinking about things black and white, then he'll train up so much easier, right? Like if you're going along and your horse has gotten confused along the way and things in his life have not been black and white, you got to go back and make sure that he understands this is how it's going to be. The easiest way to do that is to go back to grades 1, 2, and 3, right? And just make sure that your horse knows that things are black and white, right? Because we've done a lot in our lives with these horses. Some of you guys have owned these horses for 3, 4 years, and there's a lot of bad habits involved in there where maybe we don't always turn off our outside rein. Maybe sometimes we pull our inside and we just let him get away with that, right? So understanding your rule book to make sure he understands what black and white is really important.
Jennifer said that she got her subscription on Patreon, so we get to meet her princess soon.
Awesome.
So that's exciting. And don't forget, like, send a video in of your horse, because we're going to do spotlight subscribers. So we're going to post a video. We're going to feature you guys on our Instagram page and Facebook. So that'll be really fun. We have one that we did today. I got to upload it still.
We love hearing your stories about how you guys just horses have turned the corner, how much easier to ride. Your successes in the show pen, that stuff's been amazing for us to listen to. We love hearing those stories, and we want to make as many like before and after videos as we can, because I think the differences that we see in these horses are amazing, right? How much more athletic they are, how much stronger they are, how much more balanced they are, how much easier they are is amazing. Good.
Jojo said, had a count up for you guys. You have so far 108 videos on your Patreon, Lockdown Boredom, looking for things to do. That's crazy.
That's awesome. Yeah, so if you guys if you haven't checked it out yet, I know we've had a lot of new people on the Patreon page.
Yeah, and thank you guys so much. It's so amazing.
A lot of new people, so welcome to the page. Welcome to what we're doing here. A lot of new people on the Facebook Live and stuff that we haven't met before.
That's exciting.
Thank you to everybody for sharing this stuff and letting us grow. It's been a really fun journey. But yeah, so we have a Patreon site, patreon.com/LSH Live. And like they said, there's 108 videos.
Yeah, that takes it way back.
That takes it way back.
Like our first video, I think I was holding the phone and it was like shaking and then it fell on the ground.
Yeah,
and
we've come a long way.
That takes it way back. So that's really fun. And then we have our merchandise coming on April 20. So one of us will wear that, so you guys can take a look at that.
Hopefully we'll be able to do some giveaways and stuff, some merchandise. That'd be really fun. Hopefully this coronavirus goes away so we can get things shipping around again. That'd be really good. But yeah, so we'll keep making these videos. We'll be live again tomorrow. Hopefully the weather cooperates a little bit better, and we can be back outside. That'd be amazing.
And if you're catching the replay, comment LaRose so we know you were here.
Yeah, don't just lurk. Ask questions, right? Because I don't know if you guys noticed, but I'm up all day and all night answering you guys' questions on there even when the stream ends. So keep it going, keep sharing. We'll keep making the videos, and we'll keep doing this deal.
Thank you guys so much. We love you.
Awesome. We love you guys. Take care. We'll see you tomorrow.
Bye. And I gotta figure out how to end this.